In today's class, let us discuss about the ray theory of transmission. We will continue the discussion. In the previous session, we have studied about ray theory, basically how optical fiber waveguide looks like, core, cladding, the different refractive indices N1, N2. Hope you remember this. Then we have studied already about the total internal reflection concept. In that, you have seen what is a refraction. Okay, what is the general condition for a refraction, and then we have seen a small the Snell's law, or how Snell's law we use in order to relate the different refractive indices and the angle of incidence and refraction. Then there is a limiting case of refraction. Here the important condition, we are going to use this in future. Whatever incidence angle we get, it should be greater than the critical equal to critical angle. Okay, this particular thing, okay, whenever we take the other angle of refraction 90 degrees, then your angle of incidence will become angle of this critical angle. Okay, we have replaced phi by phi suffix c. Okay, this is the limiting case of refraction. Then we have seen what is a total internal reflection. The condition for total internal reflection is angle of incidence should be greater than the critical angle. And as an example, how in the optical fiber communication total internal reflection takes place. We have already seen this. And in the second part of the session, we have seen what is an acceptance angle. Few of you have didn't join about this. This is your critical, acceptance angle. This is the cone, half cone, depicting the acceptance angle. Within this range, if your incident wave falls, the light ray comes within this particular range in an angle within this range, then only the total internal reflection is possible and the communication is possible. Otherwise, if we take some other ray whose angle is beyond this range, then that time refraction, series of refractions take place, and eventually the wave gets lost by means of radiation. So this is the condition. Your angle, whatever incidence angle will be there, it should be within this acceptance cone. That is, we call it acceptance angle. Today, let us discuss about the third parameter in the ray theory of transmission, that is numerical aperture. Okay, again taking the same acceptance angle figure, the basically you can see it here. We will continue the discussion. This indicates your optical fiber. Whatever straight lines I'm drawing, it is something like this, your optical fiber. The front view it is, and inside this is your core. The first three lines indicate core. Okay, take this part. So if you take this front view of this figure, you can see it. How many mediums are there? Actually, I have mentioned it. There is an air. Okay, this is one medium from which your light wave will be coming, and it is having a refractive index n0, and ideally its value will be 1. Okay, this is about air. Okay, when it hits this face, this is your perpendicular to this core axis. Okay, when it hits, so this is your air core interface. Fine. And after this, how many other two refractive indices you can see? There is one more medium, that is core, and the third one is cladding. Core is having the refractive index N1, cladding is having the refractive index N2. So totally 3 refractive indices will come here in this figure, N1, N2 and N0, that is for air. Okay, keeping this figure as a reference, you can just, I'm explaining you what all the figure contains, then we can just read it out. If this is the incidence angle between this air and core interface, we get a refraction. Okay, and this is your angle of refraction. Okay, theta 2. So theta 1 and theta 2, incidence and refraction. After that it hits here, and the total internal reflection concept comes. So your angle of incidence is greater than this critical angle. So this phi, whatever is there, it is greater than the critical angle, then the total internal reflection is taking place. Okay, so three angles are there, theta 1, theta 2 and phi. So these three will come here. Now coming to the explanation part, in numerical aperture we are going to have certain relationship equation, relationship between the refractive indices. Already you know what is a refractive index of any material. Okay, so we are going to obtain the relationship between the acceptance angle. In the previous session we have seen theta A was the acceptance angle, and the refractive indices of three media. So which are those three media? We have seen air, core and cladding. So these three media, N0, N1 and N2 with the refractive indices. We will try to obtain the relationship between them. With that relationship we can get the concept of numerical aperture. Okay, figure shows a light ray, that is capital A, incident on the fiber core. Okay, that too it at the interface between air and core at the angle theta 1. So this is your angle of incidence to the fiber axis, which is actually less than the acceptance angle. Here whatever we are you can see here, if you see in the previous session we have seen about the acceptance angle. In the acceptance angle we have seen that there is a cone here, wide range. Okay, within this if your angle falls, then only the everything is possible further. If this angle is beyond this, somewhere here or here, then there is no there is no meaning in going further for the derivation. That's why this is very important condition. So whatever theta 1 angle of incidence you are considering, it is less than the acceptance angle theta A. Okay, now the ray enters the fiber from the medium, that is air. Okay, light ray is coming from the medium air, that is having the refractive index N0, and it is entering into the fiber core, and the core is having the refractive index N1, and also the cladding, it is having the refractive index N2. It is not entering the cladding. Okay, we are just mentioning that the refractive index of core is N1 and its value is slightly greater compared to the cladding refractive index. That's it. Just comparison between N1 and N2. Okay, cladding has nothing to do with this light ray and everything. Now, assuming the entrance face at the fiber core to the normal to be the normal to the axis. That's what I have drawn it here. You can see. So this, whenever it is entering into the core, okay. So this face is being normal. Fine. This is the interface and the core of the axis. That's what is being explained here. Let us consider the refraction at the air core interface. We will make use of Snell's law. Okay. Now we are not considering the complete figure. We are just focusing on this part. Air core interface, angle of incidence is theta 1, angle of refraction is theta 2. So using Snell's law, so the refractive index of first medium is N0, theta 1 is the angle, and the refractive index of core second medium is N1 with the angle theta 2, N0 theta 1, N1 theta 2. So using Snell's law, N0 sine theta 1 is equal to N1 sine theta 2. We are just focusing on the starting part, this particular part of your figure. Using Snell's law, we can write this equation. Now, after it hits the interface, okay, there is a refraction. You can say it. Let me erase it. There are many lines. Okay. So once it hits the interface between the air and the core, the ray gets refracted. Okay, and then it will hit the core. Now after this, it will become what? From this core, what will happen? It will totally the total internal reflection concept come into picture when the angle of incidence will become what? greater than the critical angle, then the ray gets reflected. So further it goes on like that. Okay, why it goes on like this only? Why not it is entering into the cladding and somewhere it is not, it is getting lost? Because initially only we are considering that theta 1 is less than the your theta a acceptance angle, then only everything is possible whatever we are explaining. Okay, so after this part, let us move to this particular part. Focus on this particular part. Here you can observe there is a triangle. Hope it is visible to you. Triangle ABC. Okay, no doubt we have expressed, these n0 and n1 refractive indices, theta 1 and theta 2, the angle of incidence and refraction, in terms of Snell's law. Okay, by means of Snell's law we have explained, we have given the equation. But for our total internal reflection concept, this phi makes an important role. Okay, it is very important for us. So what we will do, we will make use of this triangle. We will make use of the basic Pythagoras theorem, sin theta, cos theta, angles, how you define adjacent by hypotenuse, opposite by hypotenuse. From that, we will try to replace whatever angles are there in terms of the known angles. Okay, let's see how it is done. Hope you're understanding. If anywhere you're confused or stuck, please ask me. Okay. Okay, considering the right angled triangle ABC, for your reference, I have drawn it the same thing here. CACB. CACB. The same triangle, you can see it here. Okay, for our reference, it will be easy for us. From this figure, you can see that it's a right angled triangle. So obviously, this is 90 degrees. So sum of these two angles will also become 90 degrees, right? Theta 2 plus phi. These two angles total value will become 90 degrees, right? Then only the total sum of 180 degrees will come. So with this relationship, theta 2 plus phi totally together will be equal to 90 degrees. What will be theta 2 is equal to? Theta 2 will be equal to 90 minus phi. Okay, the same thing I have written here. Phi is equal to 90 minus phi, or express phi in terms of theta 2. Okay, you can do in both ways. So I have written like theta 2 is 90 minus phi, and then you can express phi as pi by 2 minus theta 2. Okay, from the right angled triangle, this is the basic concept, basic geometry. Okay. Okay. Now, this is very important condition. Then only your total internal reflection will occur. Angle phi, angle of incidence, it is greater than the critical angle. Then only TIR is coming into picture. If that is the case, how we can replace this Snell's law? See, LHS is same. N0 sine theta 1 is equal to N1. Instead of sine theta 2, I am replacing it with cos phi, because just now we have seen that theta 2 plus phi together is actually 90 degrees, and with this theta 2 can be written as theta 2 is equal to 90 minus phi, right? So 90 minus phi. So if I write instead of sine theta 2 as 90 minus phi, what it will be? Sine of 90 minus phi. Phi is a known angle to you. Okay, that is your angle of incidence, which is greater than the critical angle. So if this is the case, you know that whenever there is a 90 term, sine will change to cos, cos will change to sine. If this is 180, the angles will not change. If it is 90, the angles will change. So this will become 90 minus means what? Which quadrant it is? A, S, T, C. So all 90 minus means here all are positive. So in sine will get converted to cos. Cos of what is the angle? Phi. So your total, this is second term. This total second term sine theta 2 will become cos phi. Okay, this is from the geometry. Hope you understood this part. Okay. Further, we will simplify this. Again, basic trigonometry we will make use of. You know already this relationship. Sine square plus cos square is equal to 1. So that simple trigonometric relation we will make use of in our concept. LHS is same. In RHS, N1, instead of cos, what I am writing? Sine square plus cos square is equal to 1. So cos square will be 1 minus a sine square. So what will be cos is equal to square root of 1 minus sine square. So I have written the same thing. Instead of cos, it will become 1 minus sine square. Remember, when we started with the Snell's law, we were dealing with the angles theta. But after making use of the trigonometry and this triangle, right angle triangle, we are now working with phi. Okay, that is the thing we changed. Okay, and this we have already seen. The limiting case of total internal reflection. Okay, let's just I'll show you the figure. Before we moved on to total internal reflection concept, try to remember the previous session class. Total internal reflection, the condition is angle of incidence should be greater than the critical angle. For just before this, limiting case of refraction, that is the total internal reflection, just before that, the condition is your angle of incidence is equal to the critical angle. This is called the limiting case of the refraction. Okay, so we are going to use that concept here. Okay, whenever the limiting case of total internal reflection, that is refraction, we take the angle of incidence is equal to the critical angle. Just now I have shown you 5 is equal to phi subscript c, phi equal to phi c, angle of incidence equals to critical angle, and with that only we had got this sine phi c is equal to n2 minus n1. Let me just show you. Okay, just you can recall it. When we went for this limiting case of refraction, total internal reflection, we had got the critical angle as sine phi c is equal to n2 by n1. So this relationship we will use. So make use of that. Sine phi c is equal to n2 by n1, and in this case, what is a theta 1? It is the acceptance angle of the fiber theta A, right? So theta 1 is your what? Acceptance angle, and the condition was that theta 1 was less than theta A. Otherwise, this total internal reflection will not at all happen. Your rays gets lost in the cladding, right? So theta 1 is your acceptance angle. This is one thing. And for the limiting case of total internal reflection, sine phi c is equal to n2 by n1, phi is equal to phi c. So these three things we will be considering for future purpose. Okay, so what all we have just now got the equation here. You can see I'm erasing it. This one, n0 sine phi 1 is equal to n1 this much. In this equation we will have certain little modifications. What we will do here, LHS is same, n0 sine theta 1 is equal to n1, this as it is. I have rewritten it because it was in the next page, so I have rewritten it. So with this as a reference, what all three things we have considered? three things were, first of all, theta 1 is equal to theta A, acceptance angle equal to theta A, sin phi c is equal to n2 by n1, and phi is equal to phi c. These three things were the limiting case conditions. So let's use them. N naught sin theta 1 is equal to theta A. First substitution I have done. N1 as it is square root of 1 minus sin phi will become phi c. Okay, that is second condition, or the third condition we will use it. So phi will become phi c. Okay. Now further is simplification. That's it. How will you simplify this? I can take this n1 inside the square root, it will become n square, right? N1 will become n square inside the root. 1 minus, what is the sine square of phi c? One more limiting condition we have, sine phi c is equal to n2 by n1. So limiting case, three conditions were there, three things important. One is theta 1 is equal to theta A, then phi is equal to phi c, and sine phi c is equal to n2 by n1. These three things, out of which let's use this n2 by n1, as it is a sine square, so it will become n2 minus n1 square. So both will be squares. Okay, expand the bracket, n2 square, sorry, this is n1, right? N1 square, if you expand it, n1 square first term minus n1 square will be here, and n2 by n1 square. So n1 gets cancelled here. You will be left with square root of n1 square minus n2 square. Left hand side is n naught sine theta A. This equation, it relates the acceptance angle and the refractive indices of three media, air, core and cladding. And this equation, what is written here, this one, last equation which we have derived, this equation is the basis for the definition of numerical aperture. So we define numerical aperture in this way. So whatever equation we have got, this is called the numerical aperture. And air, you know that the refractive index of air is taken to be 1. So numerical aperture is equal to sine theta A, that is acceptance angle, square root of n1 square minus n2 square. So we define a numerical aperture in this way. Numerical aperture will give you the relation between acceptance angle and the refractive indices. So if in your question paper, if the question is asked, derive the expression for numerical aperture, you can directly get this. But if the question is derive the relationship, derive the relationship between acceptance angle and the refractive indices of different media, then indirectly you have to derive the equation for numerical aperture. Fine. What is theta A? It is the acceptance angle. Okay, it is the maximum angle in which the light ray, they they become incident on the optical fiber in order to propagate down the fiber. Under the total internal reflection hoga, and the ray will propagate continuously. Okay. Now, as a note, this is important for you. Probably in problems you will use this. Numerical aperture NA, it can also be given in terms of relative refractive index difference. Relative. When we call relative term, we take a ratio, right? So that is given by the delta. It is between core and the cladding, and it is given by, that is the delta n is equal to n1 minus n2. This is refractive index difference, and the relative difference is given by delta is equal to, this is the formula, n1 square minus n2 square divided by 2n1 square. This is the formula for relative refractive index difference. Okay, relative refractive index, RRI difference. Okay, you can just remember RRID. If this is the delta, let's see, can we represent NA, that is numerical aperture, what we have got here, this equation. Okay, numerical aperture equation we have got just now. Can we represent this? Can we just modify this equation so that, because here n1 minus n2 term is there, can we just mold this equation a little so that delta we can express in terms of delta? Let's see. What I have done here, we know that numerical aperture is given by square root of n1 minus n2, n1 square minus n2 square, right? When n naught is equal to 1. For air it is 1, it is given by only this much. So I have taken that. You can observe here in the delta, okay, observe in the delta equation, you have 2 n1 square in the denominator. I want to build the relationship between Na and delta. So I have taken the definition of delta, square root of n1 square minus n2 square. So as delta has 2 n1 square, so I will just multiply and divide with 2 n1 square. So let's see what I can do further. If I take the numerator and denominator, same term, in the denominator, if you okay, after this you keep it as it is. Now observe that there is a square root here. So because of that, you can express, if it is a square, it is simply root, not like that, root a into, okay. If you have a variable a, you can write it as like this, root of a into root of a, so that it becomes, when you multiply, a only. So same thing I have done here, 2n1 square root 2n1 square and root 2n1 square, 2 times roots will go, so only 2n1 square will be left, so that this is common now, root. I can take these square roots all together. I have written the same thing, root of n1 square minus n2 square, 2n1 square, and outside 2n1 square is as it is. And what is this part, second part, root 2 as it is I have written, and the square root of n1 square, square and root gets cancelled, only you will be left with n1. Now this complete first term in the square root, it is your delta, not square root only, okay, except square root. So that, let's write it as it is, square root of delta term. Inside this whatever is there is delta term. And what is 2 by root 2? See, you have 2 divided by root 2. So what is 2 by root 2? 2 can be written as square root into square root of 2, and denominator square root. So they gets cancelled, you will get root 2. So I have written root 2 also. And one more thing is there, the n1 and n1 square, 1 n1 will get cancelled, you will be left with n1. So 3 terms will come. So what is, we started with the numerical aperture equation. LHS is Na. Na is equal to, what you will get finally, n1 root 2 delta. So we have got the relationship between relative refractive index difference and numerical aperture. Na is equal to n1 root of 2 delta. This equation will be helpful while solving the problems. Okay. These whatever equations we have dealt now for numerical apertures, they are very useful for the measure of light collecting ability of the fiber. Okay, mathematically you understood what is the numerical aperture, but you should know the physical significance of that parameter, why it is used. So depending upon the value of the numerical aperture, the capability of the fiber will be either high or low. Okay, that will be decided by the numerical aperture, and in turn the numerical aperture depends on n1, n2 and n0, that is the refractive indices. So what all things are involved here, many points are there. Your light collecting ability of the fiber, how much light will be able to pass through, that the quality will be measured by numerical aperture, and in turn, as Na is dependent on n0, n1, n2, it is decided by refractive indices. And whatever the values we have got in the equation, you can see that we have not got anywhere the terms called diameters of core and diameter of cladding. Okay, nowhere it is concerned. Numerical aperture, you have delta, n1, n2, everything is in terms of refractive indices only, the material which you use, not the diameter. So the optical fibers, they are independent, what their capabilities, they are mostly, they are independent of the fiber core diameter, and they will hold um, probably the light collecting ability for the diameters as small as 8 micrometer. We have discussed one of the what advantage of optical fiber communication is that their hair like structure, even less than the human hair, the diameter of the optical fiber cable. But otherwise, if diameter becomes practically I'm speaking less than this, they may not be able to work out feasibly. What happens depending upon the, I said Na is an important parameter which will decide, okay, the functioning of the optical fiber. So optical fibers with the numerical aperture values large, if this value is large, they will take more light, okay, and they will be more suitable for expensive light transmitter like LEDs will be used. Okay, so how your numerical aperture is affecting the efficiency or the capability of the optical fiber is, if this value is more, it can accept more light. Fine. You can see it. Two problems I have solved based on the numerical aperture and whatever we have seen acceptance angle. We can just have a look at this. First problem, a silica. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Okay, just put it in the chat box. A silica fiber with a core diameter enough to be considered by a ray theory analysis has a core refractive index. Core refractive index, that is N1 is given to you 1.5, and the cladding refractive index 1.47, that is N2 is given to you. N1 and N2, two refractive indices are given to you. Determine the critical angle at the core cladding interface, phi angle. Okay, in the figure you can see this angle, okay, in the core cladding interface, this one, core cladding interface. So this angle phi, critical angle, has to be calculated. Second, numerical aperture of the fiber. Third one, acceptance angle, that is theta A or theta 1. Okay, let's see how it is solved. For the critical angle, we will simply take the limiting case of the optical total internal reflection. Three things, three considerations we have seen. Sin phi c is equal to N2 by N1. This is one of the condition for the limiting case of total internal reflection. Other two where one is theta 1 is equal to theta A and phi is equal to phi c. So we will make use of this. Sin phi c is equal to N2 by N1. So sin phi c is equal to N2 by N1. It's a direct calculation. N2 and N1 are given to you. Phi c is equal to sine inverse of this. You can just cross verify whether you will get this or not. 78.5 degrees. Second one, directly again, numerical aperture we have to calculate in root of N1 square minus N2 square. You can substitute the values. I have got 0.3. You can just cross verify whether you'll get this or not. And the third one is acceptance angle in the air. So what is acceptance angle? How we calculate? Theta A from the numerical aperture itself. We know that Na is equal to sine theta A. Actually here we will get N naught sine theta A. We have already derived this equation. Where it is? Yeah, Na is equal to sine N naught sine theta A square root of N1 square minus N2 square. We have already derived this. So with this, they have asked in the air, that is N naught will be equal to 1. So I've substituted that. So sine inverse of the sine theta A is equal to root of N1 square minus N2 square, or theta A is equal to sine inverse of Na. That's it. So calculate sine inverse of 0.3, you will get 17.4. You can cross verify. Take the second example. A typical relative refractive index difference for an optical fiber, it is given as 1%. See, what is this? Can anybody tell me? What is this? relative refractive index difference. No one? What is it? Hope you're all present. Relative refractive index difference is delta. Fine. So that is given to you. Estimate the numerical aperture, solid active acceptance angle. They have given the core index, refractive index 1.46. This is given to you. We need to calculate for the second thing. One is NA we need to calculate. Second one is acceptance angle, solid acceptance angle. Third one, calculate critical angle. So three things we need to calculate. So three are unknown to you.